Hello everyone, welcome to today's Airsoft review video. Today we're going to be reviewing the S&T M870 full metal airsoft shotgun. This is a spring powered shotgun, keep in mind, so there's no use of any gas powered anything on this. So just a note before we get into the review. Today's video is going to primarily focus on detail as far as what this airsoft shotgun is all about. Some shooting demonstrations, and of course a chrono test to get an accurate reading for FPS as far as what you can expect for power out of the box. So hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's get right into it. So first thing, let's go ahead and talk about overall exterior build and quality. So you're going to have a mix of metal components and polymer components in this airsoft spring shotgun. The nice part of it, of course, is that a large majority of this is metal, so it's got a nice even balance of weight and mobility, I guess, best way to put it, with, again, the polymer components being somewhat lightweight. It's not too bad, actually. So you're going to get pretty much the entire portion from end to end right here. It's going to be mainly metal. Of course, you have the hand pump here that's going to be made out of a polymer plastic material, and then you have the stock as well that's made out of polymer. You do get a nice rubberized texture here at the end of the actual stock, so that's a nice touch. A lot of everything here, including the trigger guard is made of metal, and the overall construction is very nice. Of course, the magazine that comes included, if it's 21 rounds, if I'm not mistaken, it is basically all plastic. So expect the magazine to be all plastic for this particular airsoft model, although there are other magazine alternatives that do exist. Further to the exterior touches, you do get a nice laser printed name for the actual shotgun. So you can see it's the Model 870 Super Magnum. I'm not too familiar with the real steel version, but I'm sure to some extent it'll have something like that as well. And then of course you have 12 gauge for 2 3/4 inch shells right here. So obviously this is something more of the real steel spec. This is a 6mm airsoft spring shotgun, so not to be mistaken for anything of the real thing. And additional accessories that come with it is a sling loop for a sling as well. As far as features go, there's really not much. It's basically going to be a general shotgun. Here I have kind of an up-close view of the trigger guard, the trigger, and then of course the safety. So the safety is going to be a button that you can push on either end. So right now it is on the fire position. Pushing it in the right direction is going to lock that trigger for your safety. So safety is generally very common in this position for shotguns, and it's nothing too different if you've had an airsoft shotgun before. When it comes to releasing the magazine in here, the 21 round magazine, it's a little bit unique just because you have this switch right here, which is what you're going to use to remove the magazine. So it's going to be a switch that you're going to push forward like so. It's a very small movement, and you're going to put maybe one finger right here on the silver edge, and then you're going to just push forward and the magazine should come out. And then of course here's the interior, and then you have your 21 round polymer magazine. There's really nothing too exciting about the magazine. It's going to be a very general build. Everything again is made out of plastic, and then once you get your magazine loaded, it's very speed loader friendly. You can just go ahead and put it in, and then you're good to go. I would say one of my kind of pet peeves is sometimes if you don't get the magazine in perfectly, you might come across this issue, as you kind of saw there more live. So that's probably the one thing that gets a little bit iffy if you don't put it in perfectly. So you might get a little bit of a jam up there. And then of course you have your serial numbers and where it's made in. This one's made in China. And then of course you have the S&T logo on the other side as well. Otherwise, there is not much else going on the other side of this airsoft shotgun. And fun fact, when you do pump it, nothing happens here, so don't expect any type of realistic movement here. While this is somewhat irrelevant for most of the world, here in the United States, these airsoft replicas are going to have a blaze orange tip around the barrel of the actual airsoft pistol that you have or airsoft rifle. In this case, I did remove mine. As you can see, it is a single shot shotgun. It is not a tri-shot shotgun. So something to keep in mind when it comes to single shot shotguns, you're going to definitely have a higher FPS velocity versus a tri-shot. So there's one barrel versus three, and that's what makes the difference in FPS. We're going to go ahead now and get into more of the Chrono side of this so you guys can get a chance to see what the FPS is when using 0.2 gram BBs and 0.23 gram BBs. So first up, we're going to be doing the Chrono test of the 0.2 gram BBs on this M870 shotgun. We'll do 5 shots so you guys can see somewhat of a consistency when it comes to FPS and what to expect. So we're going to go ahead and do the very first shot here. Okay, 399 for the first one, 400 for the second one, 399 again, 400 and 399. So very impressive with the FPS consistency when it comes to 0.2 gram BBs. I will get the average for you guys, but the average, as Evike has it posted on their site at least, is 380 to 400 FPS with 0.2 gram BBs, and this is definitely shooting on the higher side of the 390 plus and 400, so very solid FPS. Next, we're going to move over to the 0.23 gram BBs. These are slightly heavier, so you're going to notice the FPS should decrease, not drastically, but enough to where it's not in the high 3s, low 400s like we saw with the 0.2. So again, 5 rounds, we're going to test them and see what the consistency is with this FPS. So first shot was 357 before the Chrono fell, so shot number 2. 357. 357 again. Ooh. 358. 353. So you're getting anywhere from 350 to 360 FPS. So you're getting about almost a 40 FPS difference between just moving up 0.3 grams in BB weight. So obviously you can use that math to pretty much, you know, figure out what it would be with like a 0.25, a 0.3, and so on. I only have those 2 BB weights to use in this example, so at least you get some kind of taste of FPS. Now we'll do some live shooting demonstrations so you guys can get a few different angles as far as what the shotgun looks like when you're firing it. The pumps and movement overall are very solid on the shotgun, so that is definitely the one thing I appreciate with the build. To wrap up this review video, we've had a chance to see again the shooting demonstration, the Chrono test, and then overall just review and quality of the actual airsoft shotgun itself. So some more background as far as where I picked it up and price points and things of that nature. So you can expect to find this in most airsoft retail outlets online. Evike.com was one that I purchased this one from, so they definitely have many different variants of the shotguns that S&T makes in the same kind of bucket when you view this particular shotgun. So that's the nice thing, is there's a lot of variety. The price points are pretty good. This one was right around that $130, $140 range, so you kind of have an idea of what to expect for that price, and you kind of had a chance to see it. You have a very nice quality build. Not a lot of negatives as far as the exterior goes. My only negative is I wish they put a little bit more metal work into the magazine. I don't like that the whole thing is plastic. There isn't even any weights inside of it to simulate some kind of weight. But again, when we're talking real shotguns, usually they're not going to be magazine fed. They're going to be more, you know, single shot in, and then they house them along the tube there. But obviously in the Airsoft version, it's going to be a little different. So if I had to nitpick, the magazine could be a little bit better. Overall, the FPS is very solid, very consistent. You can downgrade the FPS with, you know, certain BB weights. So if you are trying to get into an area where there's an FPS limit, you know, heavier grade BBs is definitely going to be your way to go, since again this is a single shot Airsoft shotgun, so there's going to be some power, some hot FPS behind it when we're talking about 0.2 gram BBs, as you guys saw. So that again is the consistency factor, is the nice thing, and the easy to pump is the other nice thing. I know there are a few shotguns, spring shotguns, that I've used in the past that were a little bit of a pain. The Spaz 12 shotgun is definitely one that I would have to say was a little bit of an annoyance for me because of how slippery it was. So you have a pretty tough spring and a slippery grip. Both of those together just make it a lot easier. So you have to have a solid grip and really kind of grip it and rip it to go. This one is almost like a Mercedes if I were to compare it. You know, it's nice and smooth, it cycles nice and smooth, not a lot of power. You have the metal strip that pushes the spring back on both sides, so you kind of have a lot of I guess equilibrium on some of these parts, so you don't have just one side pushing the spring back, you have both sides when you pump it. So again, that's a nice touch, and it really speaks volume on the quality. This is my first S&T Airsoft gun of any kind, so this is definitely nice for me to get an idea of the company, the brand, and how they make things. So being out of China, it's pretty well made, I would say. That's definitely my take there. Like I said, not too many negatives. Like I said, I wish the magazine could be a little bit better. It feels a little bit flimsier and on a cheaper side compared to everything else on the exterior builds. So that, again, could use some improvement in my books. The capacity is definitely not too bad. It's 21, although it could be a little bit more, and I'm sure there's different variations of magazines made out there. But again, that's something separate. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative. And if there are any questions on this particular Airsoft gun, you know, feel free to drop a comment. I'll be happy to answer that. And hopefully this will influence you guys to pick one of these up, because I think it's a great Airsoft shotgun. It's a spring-powered shotgun, so no need for any batteries, chargers, green gas, propane, nothing like that. Just you get it out of the box and you're ready to rock and roll. It's always a nice touch. But thanks again, guys. Have a good day.